Hey, what's up, Blue Team? It's been a while since I've made a video, and that's because I've been settling into a new job at a different organization. On that note, I wanted to take some time and discuss the topic of job interviews. As tech workers, job interviews are a pretty unavoidable part of our lives. Yet, I don't think I've seen almost any tech YouTubers really talk about interviews and how to do them. As such, I thought it might be useful for me to make a video on how to make the most out of the interview process. Coming into this conversation, you probably already have an idea in your head of how a job interview is supposed to look. You know the drill. You come in, you shake hands, the interviewer asks you some stuff about your CV and throws in some silly gotcha questions or makes you recite quotes from your CISSP training from memory or whatever. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be like that. Today, I want to tell you guys a story about my friend and my colleague, Jeshua. So my guy, Jeshua, he has a unique way of tackling job interviews that I just got to tell you guys about. Let's call it the Jeshua Method so we can give him credit for this one. So funny enough, the way that I met Jeshua was that I actually interviewed him as a candidate for a position at the place that I used to work. Anyway, generally speaking, when we conducted interviews at this place, we had a standardized set of questions that we'd use for all of our candidates, and most of the interviews that we conducted tended to never really deviate that much from the script that we had. It was usually always kind of the same deal. Some dude would walk in, show off their resume with like a gajillion degrees, certifications, work experience, whatever, and we'd just go back and forth asking our questions. But that's not how this interview with Jeshua went. So to set the scene here, there were three of us, me included, conducting the interview. Jeshua, well, he came in, and everyone on our side of the interview, we went around the table, we introduced ourselves, gave our roles, named off a few projects we work on, you know, the whole usual interviewer spiel of introducing yourself to some random stranger. Then when Jeshua went to introduce himself, he told us who he was, who he worked for, and then he kept on talking. He told us what he did at his company, the general structure of the team he worked on, what kind of tools he was responsible for, what he liked to do, what projects he led, what kind of struggles he dealt with and had to overcome in his previous organization, what he was looking for in terms of personal growth and development, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. I think it was like a good 5 or 10 minutes before he finished his monologue. And the entire time, I was literally just sitting there striking through these questions on this PDF in front of me on our script as he answered each and every single little thing before any of us had a chance to ask him anything. He finished talking and he turned the conversation over to our side. And I was just so knocked off guard that all I could think to myself was, oh shit, this guy has to be a psychic, because he just read my damn script back to me. For a few moments, there was this tense silence in the room because I'm pretty sure that my co-interviewers were having the exact same dazed moment in their own heads that I was having. But like, realistically, looking back on it, you really don't have to be a genius to pull that trick off. And that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. Anytime you walk into one of these job interviews, you gotta know that all of these tech interviewers are going to be asking you all the same shit. At the end of the day, we as interviewers all want the same thing. It's always a question of what value you bring to the table and how you translate that value into quantifiable results. Job interviews are universally structured to question your capability to perform the work that needs doing. So if you can come in and immediately lay out all your cards on the table, you're gonna come out ahead of the game. You're more than just your name and your job title, and your introduction should reflect that. You're a human being with a complex life and numerous accomplishments and struggles. Introduce yourself by walking your interviewer through that story, and your value will speak for itself. The thing that most people don't realize is that you don't have to just sit there and be questioned. It doesn't have to be an interrogation. It's a conversation. If you can walk in there with a firm understanding of how the business works, cut past the asinine formalities, and lead the conversation, you're going to be the candidate that stands out. Your goal is to show the interviewer that they don't need to put the kid gloves on and pull teeth to get what they need out of you. That you're a grown-ass adult who's more than capable of handling any business process they throw at you, starting with your interview. The really, truly awesome thing about interviewing this way is that you can cut through the bullshit in the first 20 or 30 minutes of the interview and get to the real meat and potatoes of learning what you need to know about the company that you're interviewing for. You don't have to know the answer to every obscure technical question on their interview sheet, because they're not going to worry about asking you all that garbage if you can confidently demonstrate to them that you know your shit by just having a conversation with the interviewer on their level. Which brings me to my next point. If you can lay out who you are in detail so that your interviewer doesn't have to worry about any questions that they might have about you, you can pivot the conversation to learning about your interviewer and their organization so that you can really start thinking about if it's going to be a good fit for you and your needs. Interviewers are people too, and you gotta remember that these are the people that you're going to have to see and work with every single day if you get the job. The interview isn't just for your employer's sake, it's also for you to figure out if you really want to work there. Are the interviewers comfortable to be around? Are they the kind of people who you think are going to make you want to blow your brains out after a few months? Are you going to get the opportunities for growth and the level of respect that you deserve at this company? The interview should be a tool for you to test the waters and see if you'll be a good fit for the company that you're talking with. We've all heard the office workplace horror stories, and some are worse than others. Just like when you're going out on a Tinder date or whatever, you can save yourself a lot of pain and heartache if you can sniff out the red flags before you commit to anything. The thing is, just like the people you meet on Tinder, every company out there is a total mess. All of them, every single one. And honestly, that's okay. We're all a bit broken and dysfunctional, but your goal is figuring out if the problems that the organization that you're interviewing for are problems that you can live with or if they're deal breakers for you. Ask about the organization structure, the company culture, the projects and initiatives they're working toward, the benefits, whatever. Does it all sound reasonable, or do you get the feeling that someone's been drinking a little too much Kool-Aid? Oh yeah! As a candidate, you matter and you have value. And I mean that for all of you. I know that some of you watching this video might still be in school, have no work experience, or maybe you never even went to school at all. And the thing is, I used to be there too. For the record, my degree is in linguistics, not technology. When you take the initiative during your job interviews and explain to someone who you are and what you're capable of on your own terms, the people who matter will listen to you no matter what your background is. So, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't necessarily have the piece of paper to show for their aptitude, you want to show the interviewer that you mean business. Don't let them just passively read into your resume with whatever they're going to think on their own about you and your humanities degree. I mean, a lot of people still won't take you seriously, and I've been laughed out of my share of interviews for having a humanities degree, but you can take solace that anyone who does that to you probably isn't particularly worldly, and they're probably not that good at making quality business decisions, and you probably don't want to work for them anyway. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make with this video is that even though interviews are traditionally super formulaic and awful, they don't have to be. You can take advantage of the fact that everyone is following the same script and get yourself ahead of the game. Interviews don't have to just be one-way interrogations, and the only reason they tend to go that way is because that's just what most people come in expecting them to be. You, the candidate, have the power to take the interview and turn it into a real back and forth conversation. If you're going to take an hour out of your day to talk to some company, don't let that company's impression of you be up to whatever dumbass questions they have for you. Yeah, no one gives a fuck why manhole covers are round. Sorry, I'm still kind of salty about that one. Anyway, take ownership of the conversation, show the interviewer what you're all about, and let them decide if they really want to pass up the value that you'll bring to their company. Anyway, that's all that I have for you this time. I could easily ramble on and on about more employment-related topics in the tech industry, but we'd be here all day. I know that this is a tech channel, but I think it makes sense to talk about this employment kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of stuff or if you think that this is too far outside of what you came to this channel to watch. As always, I hope that I was able to get you to think in a way you might not have thought about before, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Bye! I wanted to take some time and... God, what the fuck is this tracking? Holy shit. What the fuck?